Welcome back to the deep dive. So we have a stack of documents today that on the surface looks a bit dry. We're looking at a breakdown of the exam structure and, well, a specific set of practice questions for the CIS-PA.
The Certified Implementation Specialist Platform Administration. It's a bit of a mouthful.
It is. And, usually when we look at exam prep, it's all about rote memorization. Memorize this. The answer is C. Don't ask why.
Right.
But looking at this, I realized we can do something different. We aren't just trying to help someone pass a test, though this will definitely help. We're trying to use these questions to reverse engineer the logic of the ServiceNow platform itself.
And that's really the right way to approach it. If you just memorize the answer key, you might pass the exam, but you'll fail the job.
Exactly.
The exam is designed to test if you get the architecture, not just the vocabulary. When you're sitting in front of a broken instance at 3 in the morning, remembering that the answer was C isn't going to help you.
Not at all. And to that end, before we even get to the specific questions, the how-to, we really need to look at the what. The source material gives us this blueprint of the exam weighting. And when I looked at the percentages, something just jumped out at me immediately. There's a story being told by these numbers.
There absolutely is. And it's a story about risk. It's a story about priority.
So walk us through this. You've got your standard stuff, platform overview and navigation, that's 7%. Instance configuration is 10%. Data migration is 13%.
Yeah, that all seems fairly standard. It's the bread and butter of an admin role.
It is. The day-to-day maintenance.
Sure, setting up users, importing a few spreadsheets, it's important, but it's not the structural core.
Right. But then you have this massive block, database management and platform security. It's weighted at 30%.
30%.
That is nearly a third of the entire certification on just 2 concepts.
Which tells you exactly what ServiceNow thinks is important. You can have the most beautiful user interface, the best service catalog, but if your data schema is a mess, or if your security is like Swiss cheese, the platform is basically worthless.
It's almost a warning sign. Like, hey, you, spend your study time here.
Exactly. If you're a listener preparing for this, don't spend 80% of your time memorizing UI colors. Spend it on table structures and access control lists. That's where the points are, and more importantly, that's where the liability is.
Well, we are going to respect that weighting. We'll spend a good chunk of this deep dive on that 30%. But I want to start where the user starts.
Fair enough.
Because if you can't navigate the system, you certainly can't secure it.
The user experience is the entry point. Absolutely.
So there was a question in the source question, one that seems, deceptively simple. It asks, which part of the ServiceNow interface is used to search for and access all available applications and modules?
Right. And for anyone who has used the platform for more than 5 minutes, they know the answer is the application navigator, or the all menu, as it's often labeled now.
It just seems so basic. Is the exam really just checking if you know where the menu is?
Well, yes and no. It's checking if you understand the hierarchy. The application navigator isn't just a list of links. It's the index of the entire platform.
Okay.
You have applications like incident management, and inside those, you have modules like open incidents or create new. It's all structured.
And the search function is key, right? Nobody actually clicks through folders anymore.
It's the primary way administrators navigate. You don't scroll. You type incident, you type user, you type tables. The navigator filters the whole platform down to what you need instantly. If you don't master that filter, you are moving in slow motion.
It's like the difference between flipping through a physical encyclopedia and just using Google.
Exactly. It's the command center.
Okay, so from finding things to requesting things, this is where the platform tries to be clever about efficiency. There was a specific scenario in question 2 about the service catalog.
Ah, the bundling question.
Yeah. The scenario is classic corporate life. You have a new hire starting, let's call him Bob. Bob needs a laptop, a mobile phone, a monitor, VPN token, maybe building access.
In a bad system, that's 5 distinct requests.
I have to fill out 5 forms, enter Bob's name 5 times. It's a pain.
It's painful for the user, but it's also a nightmare for fulfillment because those requests might get disconnected. The laptop arrives on Monday, the phone on Friday, and nobody knows they're for the same person.
Exactly. So the question asks for the component that bundles these into a single request. The answer is the order guide.
An order guide is a critical concept. It's essentially a wrapper. It asks the user a few high-level questions like, who is the new hire? Or are they remote? And based on those answers, it automatically selects the right catalog items.
And bundles them.
Bundles them into one transaction.
So from my perspective, as the user, I hit submit once.
Correct. But on the back end, The system spawns all the individual requests for the different teams. The IT hardware team gets a ticket for the laptop, security gets one for the VPN, but they're all linked. It bridges a simple user experience with a complex fulfillment process.
It's like the combo meal at a drive-thru. I don't want to order a burger, then fries, then a drink.
You just want the number one.
I just want the number one. The order guide is the number one.
That is actually a surprisingly accurate analogy. It ensures consistency. You don't forget the fries.
I try.
Yeah.
Speaking of containing complexity, let's talk about knowledge management. Question 5 caught my eye because it's about structure, and I feel like this is a place where people get tripped up.
The container question, right?
Yes. It asks, what is the container used to define the structure and set the permissions for articles?
And a lot of people trip up here. They want to say category. They
Right.
think, oh, I put the article in the HR category, so that handles it. But a category is just a label, a tag.
So what is it?
The container, the thing that enforces the rules, is the knowledge base.
Okay, so distinguish those for me. Why the knowledge base and not the category?
Think of it like a physical building. The knowledge base is the library itself.
Okay, I like that.
The categories are just the shelves inside.
Yeah.
You decide who has a key to the library. That's the knowledge base. You decide who can bring new books in, who can burn books. That all happens at the library level.
So you can't have like a secret category inside a public knowledge base.
Well, you can get granular with user criteria at the article level, but structurally, the heavy lifting of security happens at the knowledge base. If you have sensitive HR policies, you don't just put them in a category called secrets inside the IT knowledge base.
You build a whole separate HR knowledge base.
With totally different keys.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a security boundary, not just a filing system.
Got it. And for the exam, remember, knowledge base equals container.
Category equals organization.
Okay, that transitions us perfectly. We've talked about the face of the platform menus, catalogs, knowledge. Now I want to rip the face off and look at the skull.
We're entering the engine room now.
We need to talk about that 30% section, the database, the architecture.
This is where we separate the casual users from the actual administrators.
The source material brings up the CMDB, the configuration management database, and question 4 asks about the base table for the CMDB.
And the answer is the configuration item table, or as it's known in the system, CMDB-CI.
To a layperson, base table just sounds like jargon. Why is this concept so important?
Because ServiceNow uses an object-oriented database model. It relies on inheritance. The CMDB-CI table is the root. It's the great-grandparent of almost everything in your infrastructure.
Explain that inheritance. What does the child get from the parent?
Everything. I mean, think about it. A server, a printer, a router, all totally different things, right?
Sure.
But they also share things. They all have a name. They all have a status. Is it working or broken? They all have an owner. Instead of creating a name field for the server table and a separate name field for the printer table,
Let's just create it once on the
you
parent.
create the name field once on the configuration item table and everyone else inherits it automatically.
This links directly to question 7, which asks, what is a table called when it inherits fields and behaviors from another table?
And the answer is, predictably, a child table.
So efficiency is the main driver here, so you don't have to rebuild the wheel every time.
Efficiency is part of it, sure, but it's also about reporting and management. Because all these devices inherit from that one table, I can run a report against CMDB-CI and see everything.
Oh, right.
I don't have to run 10 separate reports. I just ask the system, show me every configuration item owned by Bob. The system doesn't care if it's a server or printer. It finds them all.
That is incredibly powerful. But it also sounds fragile. If I mess up the parent.
You mess up every single child.
Exactly.
If you delete a field on the parent table, it vanishes from the server, the printer, the switch, everything.
High stakes.
Very high space.
Which brings us to the other half of that heavy hitter section, security.
Access control lists, the ACLs.
Question 3. This is probably the most technical question in the stack. It asks about a security feature that controls access at the row or field level.
And the answer is the ACL.
We've all dealt with permissions. You can see this folder, you can't see that one. How is an ACL different?
Most permissions are binary. A locked door, you have access or you don't. ACLs are contextual and granular. That row or field level part is the magic.
Okay, give us an example. Help us visualize row versus field.
All right, imagine an employee table. You're a manager. You need to see the rows, the records for your employees. So row-level security says you can see these 3 records because they report to you.
Simple enough. I see Bob, Alice, and Steve.
But inside Bob's record, there's a field called salary. You, as a middle manager, probably shouldn't see that. So field-level security steps in and says, you can read the name field, the department field, but the salary field is blank for you.
So I'm looking at the record. I have the file open, but some lines are redacted just for me.
Exactly. And for an HR administrator, that field might be visible. It allows you to use the same form for different people, but they see different data.
And the question mentions specific permissions: read, write, create, delete.
Right? It's not just seeing data, it's changing it. I might let you read the assigned to field, but I won't let you write to it unless you're the team lead. ACLs control all of that logic.
It sounds incredibly complex to manage if you have thousands of these rules.
It is complex. That's why the exam weights it so heavily. You can accidentally lock everyone out of the system if you write a bad ACL.
Which brings us to question 9, the Security Center. Is this basically the health monitor for all those complex ACLs?
It's the dashboard, yeah. Instead of digging through thousands of individual ACL scripts, the Security Center gives you a high-level view. It tells you your compliance posture. It flags risks like, hey, you have hard-coded passwords in this script.
So it's the health check.
It's the how well did I actually implement those ACLs check. It centralizes the anxiety.
Okay, so we've built our database, we've secured it, we've given users a way to navigate. Now let's talk about automation.
The logic layer, the nervous system.
Question 10 asks about making form fields read-only, mandatory, or hidden. But, and this is the crucial part, it specifies without requiring server-side processing.
And that phrase, without server-side processing, immediately points you to the answer. UI policies.
Why is that distinction client-side versus server-side so important for someone who's not a developer? Why should you care?
You care because you care about speed. Client-side means it happens in your browser, on your machine.
Instant gratification.
Exactly. Imagine you're filling out a form. You change the state, drop down to closed. You want the close notes field to become mandatory instantly. You don't want a spinning wheel while the data goes to a server and comes back.
That's the UI policy at work.
Yes. It watches the form in real time.
Yeah.
Oh, you clicked hardware. Okay, I am popping up the model number field right now. It makes the application feel snappy.
But it's strictly for the user interface, right?
Correct. It's about the visual behavior of the form. It is not for security.
Wait, explain that. If I hide a field with a UI policy, isn't that secure? I can't see it.
No. You've just hidden it from view on the screen.
Yeah.
A savvy user could inspect the page source and find the data. If you want true security, you use the ACLs we just talked about.
Ah.
UI policies are for usability. Don't confuse the two.
That's a distinction that I bet catches a lot of people out. UI policy makes it pretty, ACL makes it safe.
That's a good bumper sticker.
One more piece of automation. Question 8 covers notifications.
The email system.
It asks about automatically sending emails. It seems pretty standard, but I'm interested in the trigger.
It's event-driven. The system is just passive until something happens. The question mentions an incident is assigned to a group. That's the event.
So the system is constantly listening.
Always. It detects the change, field X changed to value Y, and it checks its list. Do I have a rule for this? Yes. Okay, fire the email. It ensures work doesn't just sit in a queue unnoticed.
It's the tap on the shoulder.
Exactly. Nobody sits there refreshing their incident list all day hoping for work. You wait for the ping.
All right, so we have covered a lot of ground. We've architected, secured, automated, but we did all this in a development environment, hopefully.
Ideally, yes. Please don't do this in production. That's a resume-generating event.
We're professionals. So we built it in dev. Now we need to move it to production. This brings us to question 6 and update sets.
The moving van of ServiceNow.
The question asks specifically, when moving customizations, what state must the update set be in?
And the answer is completed.
Not in progress.
Never in progress.
Why? What's the risk?
Imagine you're packing a box to move house. An update set is that box. Every time you make a change, add a field, write a script, you're throwing an item into that box.
Okay.
If the box is marked in progress, the top is open. You might still be throwing things in there. If you try to ship that box while you're still working on it, you might ship a half-written script or a form that's missing a field.
You ship a broken system.
You break production. That's what you do. Marking it completed is taping the box shut.
Yeah.
You're telling the system, I'm done, this version is final.
And only then can you safely import it.
Right. It lets you preview it, check for conflicts, and then commit it. But the seal has to be unbroken.
It's a great protocol for data integrity.
It's essential discipline. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.